it's Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it is Make It Monday. I so much appreciate when you guys comment, let me know that you're here. Maybe if you're new to this channel, let me know where you're watching from. And I thought for tonight it would be fun if you would share maybe the most recent either craft that you've made or Stampin' Up! Product that you've used. It could be a bundle, it could be a punch, it could be some designer paper. What is really speaking to you right now? Because I have some fun projects for you tonight. These are my class projects for the month. And just to let you know, you can earn those for free when you place an order of $45. And with using the host code that you'll see on the next screen when we flip over to my table camera. So I hope that you have fun. I hope you learn some new techniques. I have some fun folds for you. We'll have one at the beginning, and I have 3 fun folds for you tonight. So don't miss any of them. All right, so I think that's everything that I need to tell you. So let me just, without any further ado, we'll flip over to my other camera. Okay, this is the first card that we're going to do tonight. It is an easel card, and it's probably the easiest fun fold that you could do, but it's very effective. And I am using the Winter Owl stamp set and bundle, which I have been dying to use and just haven't had time. And so I pulled it out for class this month. I just want to show you how fun and shimmery this card is. I also have a paper saving tip on this card that I think you'll like. I find the need for that when I'm preparing for a class like this. And I want to use a designer paper that covers the whole card. And I'm going to show you how I did this one. So let me grab all the supplies here. I do have everything set up on my Stamparatus to make it easy for everybody to stamp their own owl and my little moon, or whatever you want to call it. It could be a little world, but I'm going to use it as a moon. And somewhere in here I do have, I think, this just dumped on my table before I went live, so I'm going to find it. I'm telling you it's here. It might be on the table. Let me just take a look. Well, there's one. Yep, there it is. And there's another piece that I missed too. The little, what is that, a branch? Okay. So we'll pop these in here. We are using Pebbled Path for everything. That makes it quick and easy, right? And make sure that's up in the corner because that's how I set it up. And we'll just give a little press. And that looks good. And, you know, while I have my ink pad open, let's go ahead and stamp the Sending Love on this one. That comes from the stamp set. There we go. Pull these guys out. All right. Let's make room. I'm going to, let's close this. No, I do need to stamp one more thing. Sorry. I lied. This saying comes from the set as well. And this makes it a holiday card or a season of life card. May you have time to enjoy the quiet moments of this season. And I would guess that would be a holiday card, or maybe a season where things are a little bleak. Okay. All right, so here's the paper saving tip. Well, first let me do the fold. Getting ahead of myself here. Hey guys, thanks for popping on. I appreciate seeing you. So what I did was I cut this at 4 1/4, but I first did my scoring. I usually do it first so that I can score both pieces. So this is an 8 1/2 by 11. So I would have another piece up here, and I scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. and then cut it at 4 1/4 so that it looks like this. My background piece is 5 3/8 by 4 and I lied. 5 1/4 by 4. The next piece is the one that's downsized. Let me go ahead and pop this on. So to get this glued just to this bottom panel, I just put some adhesive on here and here, and that should take care of it. And then you can just center it on your whole piece. Scoot just a little. All right, so there we go. There's our first layer. The next layer is this one, and you can see that this is not nearly big enough. But I'm going to cut it, and we're going to make it big enough. So I'm going to cut it wherever I feel like cutting it. I'm going to cut it at about 1 inch. And you'll see that it probably doesn't matter where you do it, because now I can layer this here and this piece here, and I have this blank spot in the middle, but guess what? I have these two pieces cut to go in between here, and voila, I have just saved. I'm able to get, because this is a 4 by 4 piece, actually 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So I'm able to get 9 pieces out of a sheet of cardstock, as opposed to 6 if I cut it this way, if I cut the whole piece. Okay, so I'm able to get at least 3 more out of the sheet of paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in place. And I'm just leaving, like I said, it's 3 7/8, so it just leaves like a 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16 of an inch around all the sides. And the same down here. There we go. And let's go ahead and do this guy while we're at it. This piece is 2 by, this one's 2 1/8 by 4, and this one is 2 by 3 7/8. And then I'm not popping up any of this part. Oops, got pink on there from something. And then I can put this high or low or wherever I want it. All right, so there's that part. I did use, this is paper from the Winter Medley. Oh, I can never remember what that's called. They name it a little bit different than the stamps, the bundle. Winter Meadow. It's one that I hadn't used in any of my projects before, so I had a little bit more of that. So I decided to use that. And then let's do the rest of our pieces here. So we do need to do a little bit of coloring on the owl. You don't need to, actually. If you hate to color, can't pick it up. I'm going to say it doesn't even need colored. But I do want you to see how stunning it looks when you do color it. So I pulled out my colors and played with them because I didn't like Pebbled Path. It got too dark. So I pulled out Dark Gray Granite and Light Pebbled Path. So those are my two that I'm using together. So let me start with the Dark Gray Granite, and I'm going to just do a little bit at a time. And then once I have a little bit done, I'm going to just add some highlights with the Dark Gray Granite. And I'm doing it while it's wet so it can blend itself and I don't have to do any blending with it. Okay, so you can see the line when I first did it. Not sure if it zoomed in far enough. Let me see if I can zoom in here just a little bit more and see if you can see that any better. And then I'll just keep going a little bit at a time. And so we've been doing this when we're teaching a class, we actually encourage our students to use the hard end because it doesn't go bad as quickly. And it's actually a little bit lighter often. So especially if you want a lighter look, go with that tip. When you're your own brushes, you can use whatever tip you want. But when we have a big class, our things tend to get destroyed. So it works a little better if we just encourage you to use, I guess it's a bullet tip or the writing tip. Okay, so there you go. And then you can do the same thing with the back of the wings here and with the tail feathers here. So for sake of time and magic of television, I'm going to just do, okay, there we go. The cute little guy is finished. All right, so now we're just ready to layer. We have our stitched shapes adhesive. I think I popped this one up, so let's grab some dimensionals and we will throw some of those on here. You know, I always like to put one in the center so that it doesn't fall down. Before I stick this down though, I am going to want to make sure that my little branch gets where I want it underneath. So these things are sticking to me today. The world. So I want to stick this about here. We'll see if it actually sticks to. It does. Look at that. Perfect. And I do want to make sure this is straight with my line of cardstock here, or it will look terrible. All right. Next thing, I used our new, well, it's not new. It came out for Celebration. It's in the annual catalog, and it's this glitter little sequin paper. Now, I didn't cut a whole wing out, or intentionally I tried not to cut a whole wing out because I knew that I didn't have enough paper, and I actually like this when the wings aren't completely attached here, and I'll show you why in a second. Let me just pull the little center pieces out of here. I meant to do that before I got on the video. There are just a few at the bottom where the tail feather, or where the feathers are more attached. There's nothing to pull out. So one more here. You can see it from the back a little bit easier. All right, so it looks like this. And I like that these aren't attached because I'm going to be shaping this to actually go behind the wing of my owl. So I want it to sort of tuck around. Okay, something happened to my connection there. I think I got everything back. I apologize that the sound isn't quite the same. All my settings totally went away. Very frustrating. But anyways, so what I did was I pulled out my silicone mat and I had put glue on the back of my owl, and I just held this down for a few minutes. While I did that, I put the dimensionals on the back of my little saying, and we are ready to put this baby together. I was just at the point where I was going to say, when we put him on here, her, him, whoever, I want to just glue this part down, but I'm going to dimensional this part. As you can see, it's sticking out over where I popped up my circle. So we are going to put a dimensional on the tail here. And then we'll stick some glue. Just where it's going to intersect with my circle. And I also want to make sure it's not sticking out past the end of the card, because that wouldn't be very good either. All right, there we go. And then for my little moon, I'm just going to pop him up in the corner. And that's it for the front, although you could add some gems on here. That would be really effective if you have some champagne or gold gems. And then to hold your easel card up, you always need something popped up on the base, and so that's why we pop this piece up so that that holds that easel in place there. Okay, so there we go. That's one down, one to go. I mean, 3 to go. Okay, this next card is another paper saving idea. I've seen several people do something like this, and it's some new paper, folks. This is paper that is available online. I sent out an email. If you're not on my email list, let me know, because I sent out everything that's available online that's not in a catalog, so you might not see it. But check out this paper. Is that not gorgeous? So I see I have something shiny on there. Did I drop some glue on there? I know what I did. I moved my greeting, and that left some glue, I guess. Let's get rid of that. Okay. You'll also see these pretty little metallic birds. They are also in the online exclusives. You've got dragonflies and birds. I will tell you, these have sold out already. I knew they would be a hit. I think they became available like 2 days ago. I forget what the date was, but I was just getting back from retreat and didn't have time to get that message out. But I apologize. They will be back. I'm not sure a date on those yet, but you will have them back, I'm sure, for the spring. So, but I want to show you. So the paper, I don't have a whole sheet of paper, but because I am using this whole piece again, and plus I want to pop up a highlight a piece. So what I did was I just took the whole piece, I cut it down a little bit to my 4 by 5 1/4, and then I used my stitched rectangles to cut a piece out from the inside, and then my contour dies, I cut out a coordinating paper. So each paper I chose a different coordinating color depending on what was in that paper. So let me show you what we're going to do next. I'm going to take this frame piece first. We're going to get that in place. And you can use your green glue or your adhesive runner. Either will work fine for this. I do notice that I ran over the edge. I hate when I do that. Just a little bit right here, so I just got to tuck that. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on the edge of my card with an even frame all around, hopefully. And press that down. I probably should go ahead and you can score it or fold it, just so that you can get that edge so that you know about where you want your embossing folder to go. Now I need to just zoom out a little bit because I got to grab my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine here. And I've taken everything off except for the base plate. That's number 1. And I have my gray plate, which is number 4, because I am using this rustic embossing folder, and it's a 3D. So that's what the sandwich is for a 3D. Now I only want to do the front part of this card. So you see where the Stampin' Up! Logo is. I'm going to just lay this inside of here, right to the fold line of my card, and then I can put it through in this direction. Now, you know, I always tell you to put your fold through first. Well, in this case you can't, but at least I'm not putting it through last. I'm putting it through sideways. So it still has room to give a little bit and shift if it needs to. I was sitting on something there. All right. Let me scoop that back. We need that for one more thing then, one other card. Now hopefully you can see how that looks. You can at least see the blue in here, but that's going to get covered. But look at the gorgeous print all around this designer paper. There's something about doing that to designer paper or piece papers or something. All right, so our next step is just to get this in place. This is a quick and easy card once you get that embossing done. I want to just make sure that I'm sort of even top and bottom and side to side. And then once again, we need some dimensionals, and you'll probably want to have a few of these on hand, because I think for that my sample I sort of didn't get any put in the center, and it really sags a little bit. And I also didn't take these apart like I said I was going to do. It helps if I throw them in the trash right away instead of throwing them on my table and then trying to scoot them there. And then this just goes right over. Because I now have this wider, it's going to just cover that hole. You're not going to see where I cut that out. And it looks like I used an exorbitant amount of this paper, and I did not. Okay? How cool is that? Isn't that beautiful? I didn't have to stamp anything. You could send it just like this. But I am going to add just a little tag to it. And I'm actually using With Sympathy, because it fit good where I wanted it. And who doesn't need sympathy cards? You can make it whatever you want it to be. And I'm just going to do, actually, I'm not going to do anything. I was going to make a tail, but I don't think it actually needs it. And I don't want to cover a lot, so let me pull this one in. For this one, I put it down here. If you find a spot that you don't mind covering, since we have a lot of flowers here, I think that it would look okay right here, because I already have a bunch of flowers that I can see. I'm not covering up too much of that. And then we will grab some of these cute not dragonflies, the birds, or the dragonflies, whichever. And we'll get some up under here. There we go. 2 of those. Boom. All right, finished. That's 2 down. Okay, so our next card is this one. And I am so excited about this card. I've got junk sticking to that. I don't even know what this fold is called, but it shows off this designer paper so well. And I had used the pack of paper, but I didn't use this one because I didn't feel like this color went with everything else in that pack, but it stood out to me and I love it. So I'm so excited to use it on this card. And then it opens like this, so it can stand like so. So again, I tried to save as much paper as possible. So I can't wait to show you how I did this. So I took, the paper was 6 by 6, so I thought if I cut this 3 by 5 1/4, actually what I did first was I cut off a 1/2 inch for the to make this. It's 5 1/2 to make to cut off that 1/2 inch from 6. So I have that because I'm going to use that. And then I cut a piece of 3 by 5 1/2 and folded that in half. And then I scored the whole thing with that same embossing folder that I just used. And what I'm going to do to get this is my back, and to get this exactly where I need it, I'm going to, let's see, which way do I want this to go? I'm going to take my green glue. I'm going to actually use the bigger tip because I want a lot in here. So I'm going to fill this up with glue because I want that whole thing to stick. And I also want the back to stick down. So I'm going to do both of them. I don't want it squishing out, so I didn't put a ton. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fold at the edge of this wild wheat piece, and then I'm going to tuck this in, and I'm going to stick it in till it's at this edge of my paper, so that it's the exact size that I need. And there we go. Just going to hold that down for a few seconds till that's glued good. So now we have these 2 pieces. I didn't glue it to this. I was just gluing it to itself and to the piece here. I do see that I have it just a hair longer, so we will trim that off. so that they're the same length. Of course, I got some of this as well. That doesn't cut great after you've embossed it, so that's why I cut it first, folded it, and embossed it, because I didn't want to have to cut it afterwards. Okay, so our front and our back are finished. Let's work on the inside piece. For the inside piece, I wanted to be able to get 2 cards out of one sheet, so I made this 4 1/4 by 11, our typical measurement for a tall folded card. Scored it at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, flipped it around, and scored it at 2 3/4 again. Or you could add 2 3/4 to 5 1/2 and get 7 and 2 1/2. Yeah, 8 1/4, I believe, is the next score line. So 2 3/4, 5 1/2, 8 1/4. And then we are going to fold this. This one goes up. We're going to make a W out of this. This one folds in, and this one folds in like this, so that it looks like so. Let me go ahead and get these. I hate when I do that on that Stampin' Up. I don't like that black showing. Thank goodness for the adhesive, or not the adhesive, the sand eraser. Okay, so now we have that, but we have to decorate that. So what I did was I took a piece that was 2 1/2 by 4 and ran it through the embossing folder. So we're going to stick that in right here. And I told you I love this paper. Wild Wheat, Mossy Meadow, Poppy Parade. And so I decided I love the Poppy Parade so much that I'm definitely using that as some of my inside here. So that's going to go on here. And the other side. And I think I forgot something. Maybe I could put that blank. There you go. And then before you put this in the card, it's going to be helpful if you do any stamping that you want to do. And I want to do, I'm using So Sincere, and I'm using, this is not what I'm using. Sorry. I used that for the other card. Yeah, I don't have the set here that I'm using, sorry. But I'm stamping that in Mossy Meadow. And I need to re-ink that the way that looks. And let's go ahead and stamp our tag for the front right away. It says, "You matter to so many. May the good you do come back to you." So that's how that goes together. All right. So we're ready to put this, well, let's go ahead and put our flowers on. So I did this, I'm trying to think what this comes from. This comes from a die set. It's a standalone die set, I'm pretty sure. And I'm trying to think what, oh, it's the words. It's the words that, oh shoot, I think we just did them last time. It's the die cut words. And so many of you got the set, and the set of not stamps, the dies. But anyways, it has these several, like maybe 6 little standalone dies. And I decided to pull that out. Isn't that cute? So I think that fit on there very well. Now we're ready to put it in our card. And now I'm planning to keep it to the bottom because my reasoning is, in order for this to stand up, this inside has to be at the bottom. Okay, so just remember that when you stick it together. And we're going to go ahead and, because this is no longer flat, it's going to be easier to use liquid glue. And it really doesn't matter where you put it, but it towards the bottom. So I'm going to just stick it right there. Whoops, it moved on me. And squish glue. So we will try to get that off of there. And then we'll go ahead and put some adhesive on here, and then we'll lay our front piece on top of that. Line it up with the back. And we are almost done with that one. Voila! It's perfect. I love this card so much. And I do have a little piece of our gold ribbon, which this is also, you know, I didn't put this on there, but this is also an online exclusive. I couldn't find it. I saw pictures in the catalog, and I have a feeling that they just forgot to put it in the catalog, so it became an online exclusive because they pictured it in the catalog. So that's a sneaky way to not have to say you screwed up, right? I'm not accusing them, but that just seems to me that they don't usually show online exclusives in the catalog. Okay, need some more dimensionals. We have really used this sheet, haven't we? We used a lot in this card. Hope everybody remembers to bring their dimensionals to class, or we're going to run out. All right. And then I just pop that on the front here because this this wild leaf paper looks so gold that gold just goes so well with it. Now, this is the piece that was left over. You'll see here that I put it this direction on my card, but I realized that if I'm going to cut this in half and get 2 out of each sheet, I'm only going to have one of these pieces. So I'm not going to have enough for everybody's card. So I decided that it's going to go this direction, and I should have done it before I stuck that on there, because now I need to cut it. Let's just cut it on here so that I have it the right size. Should be 2.5. And then, might as well, since I'm using green glue, we'll just do that. Because I just wanted to add a little, I didn't want to waste this paper for one, and add a little extra interest to the inside of the card. So, all right, 3 done, 1 to go. Okay, our 4th and final card is this one. And it is more of a masculine card. It could be for the holidays or whatever you want it to be for. I just think it's adorable. And I'm going to show you, I want to call it paper saving if you want to, since that seems to be my theme this month. But for this back piece, it's just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. And I didn't want to do another whole sheet on top of it with the embossing. So I'm tricky. And so I have this piece. Let me just tell you the measurements here. This piece, I got 3 of these out of a sheet of cardstock because they are 8.5 by 3.5. Okay. I'm trying to get the size that I need to get a lot of these designer pieces out of a piece of cardstock. So, let me pull this back in, and we are going to run this piece through the wood with the wood grain embossing folder, and then we're going to cut that. Actually, I usually like to cut it first. I told you it's hard to cut afterwards, so let's cut it first. So you can cut it wherever you want to. You can cut it in half if you like to be symmetrical. I don't want to be symmetrical. This piece is 2 inches wide, and so I'm going to cut it at 1 1/4. Okay, so now I have a piece that's 1 1/4 and one that's 3 1/4. Now I'm going to sit both of them side by side in here. And I want my wood grain going this direction, so I'm doing that up and down. Actually, I put them backwards, but that's okay. It's not going to matter. Okay. So now we'll take those 2 pieces. Our base piece, 5 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm so used to telling you the layers. Got a piece of paper in there. And then this piece, which is 3.5 by 8.5, and I'm just going to fold that in half. I didn't score it because it's folding the direction that paper likes to fold, so it should not give me a problem. Now, I want my short side on the left and my long side on the right, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick that on here. In case my measurements are off, I'm going to put one side on, then I'm going to put my card base on, my folded piece on next to here, just propped up against that one, and then this piece should fit right here. All right, if you guys have any questions, the way I have to do this now, I can't see comments, but I will go back and answer any questions you might have. I really appreciate you guys being on with me tonight. Okay, so now we have the background piece, and I've only added stability to that thin piece by adding this extra little piece here, and this cardstock here makes that extremely stable. And now before I put, let me go ahead and put this piece on. I'm using Seal Plus, so as you can see, I don't need a ton of it. It can last a real long time. It's more expensive, but it works. It's my choice of adhesive because it works so well and holds so well. And I'm all about longevity. I want things, if I'm going to sell my cards and they have to sit around for a while, I want to make sure they're not falling apart when I go to actually sell them. Now, the stamp set I showed you earlier is the actual stamp set I'm using here. It's so sincere. I'm just using the Just For You from that set. This is such a nice set. It was designed by Sandy Hancock for her $1 million stamp set. And if you're still looking for my stamp set, you're going to have to wait till next fall. Mine's coming out in the holiday catalog in the fall. So watch out for that event. I will be introducing that at an event where you can come and get a stamp set that's signed and all kinds of good stuff. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to stick that down. I just did that all. I'm so used to just boom, boom, boom. All right. I wanted to glue this ribbon to this first. So I have we'll see if I have any adhesive right there. Nope. Of course, I didn't put it where I need it. All right. Let's try that again. Ribbon. Glue it before you stick it down. And then I usually like to put a little adhesive over the ribbon because that gives it a double hold. And I hate when ribbon pops out of my card. All right, there we go. And then this just tucks underneath there. And then I just took a piece that's still attached to my my spool of ribbon because I don't want to waste ribbon. And we're just going to give a little tug there. And I brought ribbon scissors in here. For this purpose, we'll trim this edge up. There we go. Now, we need to punch a bear, but I have the punch, I just don't have the paper. But I think you guys know how to punch, so I'm going to skip that step. I'm going to go ahead and put this vanilla piece on the inside. This looks way too wide. It is. I don't know what I was thinking. I made it 3.5, and this is, the paper is actually 3.5. So don't do that after you already have your glue on. Fortunately, it didn't seem to get on anything. There we go. Now we can write inside of our card. You can even put a bear on the inside if you want to. And then I did add these gems. Now, what are these called? They're called Adhesive Back Sparkle Gems. Now mine look really sloppy because I wanted them to be really black. And do I have some here? I don't know if you can see. Some of them are very clear around the edges, and I didn't want that. So I just took my my white, yeah, oh my goodness, I'm losing it. I'm trying to hurry so fast, so I'm not holding you up. I took a black magic marker and just ran around the edges of those, so you can see it sitting on the paper there, so that the edges will be black. All right, I didn't put it around the center for the most part because I wanted the sparkle to be there, but I did go around the edges because I really wanted them to be nice and black. So we can pop some of those on. I used some big ones and some little ones. And that just adds a little extra pizzazz to your card. Okay, so here's the bear punch that you'll just punch out a piece of black cardstock for your bear. And just another way to use your bear, if you choose not to get the stamp set, you definitely want to get the bear because he's very, very cute, and you can use him for a lot of masculine things, woodsy things, and stuff like that. So, all right, I hope that was helpful. Hopefully, well, I don't know what my camera's doing. Let me put my hand here, and maybe it will stop. Just trying to focus on something. It's still acting wacko. But anyways, thanks for joining.